Good afternoon, students. In the last video, we have read the chapter 1A and chapter 1B. We will be doing once our school reopens, okay? Because there are some instruments which I need to show you, like vernier calipers, then screw gauge, and all those. So, for the time being, we will be doing chapter 1C, and after that, when the school reopens, we will resume with chapter 1B. Okay, so today's topic is simple pendulum. Now, what is a simple pendulum? You have a vague concept about it. An ideal simple pendulum is when a heavy point mass is suspended using a massless inextensible string. Massless means we assume that the string does not have its own weight. Only the weight of the bob, this one, will be acting. So a heavy point mass suspended by a massless string from a rigid support. Rigid support means such a support which can withstand this string and the bob, so that the whole arrangement don't fall down. Okay. Now in ideal case, we have assumed that a heavy point mass suspended with a massless string. But practically, it's not possible because a point mass which is having a heavy mass, that's not possible actually. So we consider in the labs, actually you will find that they use the brass or iron balls, a sphere-like structure. So this one is the bob and this is a string. Now I'll show you in the lab also that how the simple pendulum looks like. So what is the effective length of the simple pendulum? The effective length is the distance between the rigid support and this one is known as the center of gravity. Now what is center of gravity? For the time being you will not be able to understand because that we will cover in class 10. For the time being you can just consider the center of the spherical structure, that is a bob. So till this, not up to this much, okay, till this is the effective length of the simple pendulum. So that means if the bob is pulled to either of the sides, then this one will be the effective length, and again this one will be the effective length L. It is denoted by small l. Now O is the rest position of the simple pendulum. O is a rest position. Now if I just pull the bob to any one side, B, say for example, and then release it, what will it try to do? It will try to come back to its original position. And again, due to inertia, it will start oscillating. To and fro movement. So that is why here comes the first term related to simple pendulum, which is oscillation. What is oscillation? The to and fro movement of the bob of the pendulum. So what is one complete oscillation then? Suppose the bob starts from, say it's in the rest position, and we pull it to B, say. So it will go to B, again it will come back to O, it will move to A, again it will come back to O. This completes one full oscillation. It's not that only from OB and then again to O. It's OB, BO, OA, AO. That means again when it's coming back to its original position, it completes one full oscillation. Then comes the next factor or the next term related to simple pendulum, which is the time period. What is time period? You have a brief idea about time period also. Time period is the time taken for completing one full oscillation, denoted by capital T. And what is its unit? Obviously SI unit is seconds because it's time, that's why. Now next is frequency of oscillation. What is frequency? Number of oscillations. That means how many oscillations the bob of the simple pendulum executes in 1 second. That is the frequency. Why? How do we denote frequency? By small f. What is its unit? All this we have covered under sound wave. Remember in class 8 we have done. Frequency small f, its unit is hertz or second inverse. Why are we writing second inverse? Because remember the relation. I have shown you the relation. Frequency and time period t equal to 1 by f. So if t has a unit seconds, f will obviously have second inverse, or you can also write hertz. Next is amplitude. What is amplitude? In this case, you know that for a wave, amplitude is the maximum displacement the wave particle executes from its mean position. But in case of the simple pendulum, it is similarly the maximum distance to which the bob will that means it will swing to. In this case, if I am pulling the bob till B and if I release it, it will come back to O. Then what is the amplitude in this case? OB. Also OA. Because in both the sides we have a maximum extent of the swing. That means the maximum extent of the string, that means till which the bob will move to, after which it will automatically come back to its original position. So OB and OA, these two are the amplitudes of the simple pendulum. Now these are the terms related to the simple pendulum, so I am just rubbing it off. Okay, so we will now study some formulas or say some relations regarding to simple pendulum. First is time period t is directly proportional to square root of effective length. That means suppose t is directly proportional to root over L. So these are the results of some experiments which have been found that how time period is related to some factors. First one is the effective length. Suppose in summer season, what will happen? Due to the temperature rise, linear expansion, you have read about this in class 8. So if the effective length of the pendulum increases, then what will happen? Time period will increase. So if time period increase, that means it is taking more time to complete one oscillation. That means in a given period of time, it will cover less number of oscillations. So that means basically the clock is running slow then. Okay, because if L is more, T is more. So if T is more, that means time period is more. That means the clock is running slow then. That means in summers, the simple pendulum will run slow. Again, suppose in winter, what will happen? Just the opposite. Due to the temperature decrease, it will contract. Now, due to this contraction, what will happen? Time period will decrease. So, if time period decrease, that means the time taken will be less, that means. Okay. So, as I said that if, so I was saying summer. Now, in winters, what will happen? In winter, if L decreases. Why will it decrease? Due to the temperature decrease, it will contract. Now, if this decreases, then this will decrease, directly proportional. Time period decrease means it will take less time to complete one oscillation. That means basically it is running fast now because it can cover more oscillations in the given period of time now. Okay, so in summers the clock will run slow. In winters, the clock will run fast. So this is one relation. Another one, acceleration due to gravity. It is found that we all know that small g has a constant value. Either we take it as 9.8 or 10. But actually, with altitude and also with depth from the surface of Earth, it varies to some extent. The exact relations, these are not covered in your syllabus. It's beyond the scope of the syllabus. So let's just concentrate on how it's varying with small g. So this is inversely proportional to square root of acceleration due to gravity. Now, if we have two proportionalities, so in order to make an equation, we need some constant, right? In this case, the constant is this is the equation of time period of a simple pendulum, t equal to 2 pi root over L by g. So basically, t square will be 4 pi square L by g. Now, in case of, this is a relation between t square and L, so then obviously you can understand, if I try to draw a graph between t square and L, what will the graph look like? This is L, this is t square. Obviously, it won't be starting from 0, right? Because length, it can't be 0. It has to have some length. So therefore, it will be a straight line like this. So, I don't know whether you have done in maths or not, but I think you have some concept regarding the slope. Suppose if I take any 2 points and draw perpendicular on both the axes, slope of this line, that means slope means how much inclined the line is with this axis. How will I find out? This by this, right? So suppose if this is T1 and this is T2, this is L1, this is L2. What will it be? This one is T1 minus T2. Square, of course, because we are plotting T square with L, by L1 minus L2, because this portion is L1 minus L2 will give me this much. This is the slope of this line. In this case, basically, from this graph, actually you have this experiment in class 9, you have to write it in your practical copy. When we will do this experiment, you will learn how we will plot the graph and how we are finding this t square. So for the time being, if t square equal to 4 pi L by g, and we are saying that this is the slope, so this is the slope, t square equal to some constant into L, this type of equation. I'm saying that I'm not sure whether you've done in maths or not, but I think you will do it. Coordinate geometry, you have this form. This in this case is 0, no intercept. M is the slope, and y equal to mx plus c, this is a straight line equation. Passing? Okay. So in this case, the slope is this one, 4 pi square by g. That is why if we have the slope of the graph we can find the slope of the graph, how can we find g? G equal to 4 pi square by slope of the graph. So we'll do it when we will do this this calculation part, when we will do the experiment in the class, and you will have to write it in the lab copy also, practical file, okay? And there is a method also how we calculate this t square. So I'll show you then. Okay. So now we have got t equal to 2 pi root over L by G, or t square equal to, just squaring both sides, okay? Now, this is the standard simple pendulum equation. A special case of simple pendulum. This is a special case of simple pendulum. Seconds pendulum. This has time period 2 seconds. That means it takes 2 seconds to complete one full oscillation. You have a numerical in the back of this chapter. Time period of a simple pendulum is 2 seconds. So they may ask you, what is the frequency? How will we find the frequency? Simple. F equal to 1 by t. Second inverse or hertz. Okay. So this is a case of a special case of simple pendulum. That means the simple pendulum where time period is 2 seconds, automatically frequency is 0.5. Okay. Let's see what's left. Okay. So I think till this much it's clear to you. Now we have learned the factors which affect the time period of simple pendulum. The factors which do not affect the time period of simple pendulum is like the mass of the bob, or say for example the material of the bob, also amplitude of the simple pendulum. That means provided it's not extended to a huge extent. So basically amplitude does not affect the time period of a simple pendulum. So what are the factors that affect the time period of a simple pendulum? The effective length and acceleration due to gravity, and from that we have found the formula t equal to 2 pi root over L by G. You need to remember this. Need to remember the factors which affect the time period. Also the different terms related to the simple pendulum. Then also what is seconds pendulum, and what are the factors, it's also important. You get objectives. What are the factors which do not affect the simple pendulum? Suppose they may ask you like two bobs, one is of iron, another is of brass, or say one is mass is given for both the cases, but both have same effective length and G is also constant. Then what will be the difference in the time periods? No difference, okay? Or they may ask you the ratio also, 1:1. If there is no difference in the two time periods, so obviously the ratio will be 1:1, because same in both the cases. Okay, so that's the theory portion. Then we will do few numericals now, okay? Okay, first sum. A simple pendulum completes 40 oscillations in 1 minute. You have to find the frequency and time period. 1 minute, that means in 60 seconds it will complete 40 oscillations. So in 1 second it will execute 40 by 60. Frequencies, number of oscillations in 1 second. So simple unitary method, this is the answer. If we have found the frequency, obviously it's easier to find the time period. No need to do 1 by 0.67. You can straight away do it from here. It's easier to calculate. So it's very easy calculations. You can do it on your own also. Okay, so just go through this. And we'll be doing 2 more sums, because the next sum which is in the book, it's the sum number 2, which is you have to find the time period is given. You will have to find the frequency, I guess. We have just done it. Time period given 2 seconds. You have to find the frequency. You have just done it. Okay. Number 4, which you have, length of a seconds pendulum. It's nothing but sum number 4. You do the calculation on your own. Okay, I'm just showing you the method. Simple. 2 pi root over L by G equal to T. This is a form. Pi has a constant value 3.14. Time period 2. Small g, it's given 10, and you have to find the length, that means small l. So what will I do? 4 pi square, just squaring, into L by G equal to T square. Put the values. 4 into 3.14 into L by 10 equal to T square means 2 into 2. Okay. Okay, this will be square obviously because we are squaring. So just put the values and you will get L. Simple calculation. Okay, you can do it on your own, the calculation. We will do 3 and 7 because this type of sums you get. Okay, comparing, then you have to find the ratios. Okay, so I'll just rub the board and we'll move on to 5 and 7.